Welcome into the Quest Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner, and today we're going to talk about Kentucky basketball from fans' perspective. On this episode, we're going to have a special guest, Ansley Almanor. Ansley, how you doing?
How you doing?
Uh, Ansley, do you want to give everybody just a little introduction about who you are?
Ansley Almanor, number 15 this past year from Spring Valley, New York, obviously.
So the season's ended in with graduation. What was that kind of like for you? Just showing, getting a little insight.
I was just obviously making that big jump. It was a different level and a competition every day, but it was still a great experience to be able to go out there and play at the highest level. At the end of the day, it's all basketball, so it's definitely a great time, a great experience, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to do that.
Mhm. And with Kentucky this year, you had many highs and many lows. What was one of your favorite memories from this year's season?
So I have a lot of great memories, obviously. I think being in Tennessee at home for the second time, that was one of my favorite memory this past year. I just feel like that was just a great crowd and a great game, great outcome. I think that's one of my favorite moment, but there's a lot of great moments from the past year.
The Mississippi State game where you knocked down a bunch of crucial threes is also a memory that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
With this year kind of coming to an end, how do you think this year with Coach Pope being able to rally kind of his guys together with having a lot of different pieces from a lot of different places? How do you think that will translate and is universal from year to year?
I think that he does a great job of making sure the team is together. Yeah, and he has a great way of doing it. Just a lot of team bonding things, a lot of off the court activity, just to make sure everybody's together and everybody's on the same page. So when it comes to playing on the court, it's just one team and one brotherhood. So I feel like he does a great job at it. I don't think he'll have any problems doing it again.
And what was probably for you the biggest difference, like maybe like philosophy, like offensively, really getting into that flow early on from your Ferry Dickinson days to Kentucky?
There's a lot of movement. Just how they play, just a lot of movement, a lot of cutting, and just having pace to everything. That was probably a little different for me, I think.
Being this your only or being one of your big leaps from Fairleigh Dickinson to Kentucky, how do you see other guys taking that leap this year from what Coach Pope has learned from this past season?
I think he's a great coach, so I feel like everybody will be fine. It's going to be a great team. I mean, they built a great team. He's going to, just make sure everybody buys into the system and just adjust how they need to adjust, and I think everything will be great for them.
And this last year, with your role being that knockdown shooter, multi-use guy that can really fill in a role offensively, how do you feel like Kentucky really thrives, elevating his players to really become legit shooters from the perimeter?
Yeah, it's a great system, but obviously we do a lot of skill development during practice every day, even just out of practice. Coaches are always available for us to get better and work on our shooting and skills like that. So I feel like he did a great job of making sure everybody maximizes their opportunity when they get the chance.
And you were talking about your favorite memories about the team. What's your favorite memory off the court?
To go out together, go downtown, or go to some guys' houses and stuff. So I have a lot of good memories. I can't really pinpoint one. I don't think it was a lot of fun times.
Uh, and with this team, it was very seasoned. How do you think that helped build the culture for Kentucky going forward?
I definitely think we had a great foundation. Obviously the goal is to win national championships. I think we started off on a great foot. Obviously injuries hurt us, so we weren't able to get all the way to that championship. But we're stepping in the right direction. So I think as time goes on, Pope will definitely get to where he needs to be.
And how did you think this year that Kentucky probably maximized their ceiling more with the injuries, with that next man up mentality when teams that don't hit adversity?
Yeah, he definitely embraced that all year long. We had a lot of great kids, a great team, 1 through 12. So everybody was ready for the opportunity, and everybody was able to
Mhm.
step up just because we're all confident and we're playing in practice. I think that was a strength we had, being a little older and having a lot of experience. That when adversity hit, we didn't really go separate. We just stayed together.
And how was that with like the practices and like the competitive nature?
Yeah, it was just that's how it was in practice. Everybody was competitive. Everybody was pushing each other to make sure they were ready for playing other teams. So that practice was always simulated game-like experiences so that when the game came, nobody was not ready. So I mean, everybody was ready. So there was no reason to not play anybody because they weren't ready. So I feel like practice definitely set the tone for that, and we had great practices all year long.
And how did this season or this culture that you built help you going forward?
I mean, it helped me obviously just get them better. Help me play certain roles and just understanding how to play at this high level and fitting into a team and stuff like that.
And in one of the interesting stats that I saw this past season was like the hit rate was something that we talked about with rebounding. How did you see that the competitive nature, like pushing each other in practice of when you're boxing out, how this team really improved?
Yeah, that's something we definitely all took pride in. It's just they emphasized it every practice. We worked on it at every practice to make sure that we didn't slip up in any of those situations because that was something that was really important playing in the SEC and stuff like that.
And have you talked to any of next year's players or anything, any of the guys that you
Yeah, I mean,
saw?
I think they'll all do a great job.
And with Kentucky, you talked about the great memories. What is one principle that Coach Pope really preached as individuals and as a team for Kentucky?
Um, Just, you're playing for this is bigger than you. We're playing for a state. That people in the state, they all appreciate Kentucky basketball. There's people that can't even afford, tickets, can't even afford to put food on their table and stuff like that. But they'll, make sure they turn in the radio to make sure they're listening to the game or they're watching the game. So, we're playing for something that was way bigger than us. And it's something I feel like we understood all game, all year long and just helped us play with a chip on our shoulder.
And in similar, early in the year before the season started, you guys went and did some tornado relief stuff.
That was definitely a big thing. I mean, he's probably gonna do it every year now because that's just how he is and how he wants to get the team to just understand like this is bigger than us. There's so many people that support us, so many people that want to see us do good that not a lot of people will be able to understand it. So yeah,
And also, he was in London with the tornadoes and things. And that's all from the Quest Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner. Ansley, do you want to tell everybody where they could follow along with you?
yeah. Just follow me on my Instagram, my Ansley Almanor on IG, Ansley Almanor on Twitter. Follow my fan page, Triple Ansley, triple with a three at the end and Ansley. So just go follow those pages.
All right, that's all from the Quest Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner. And if you like this content, please like and subscribe. You can find me at Quest Number 9 on Instagram and Twitter, aka X. And also stay tuned. I'm going to be coming out with a episode about the Nike UIBL circuit games that happened this past weekend in Memphis. And I will see you next time.